Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mrs. Cumberbatch, and today I would like to talk about manifesting SP or a specific person. Now, this is a topic that is very famous. Like the first thing whenever I go to the Neville Goddard subreddit or manifestation subreddit, there are specific pages for that, right? And the biggest problem in the manifestation community is about manifesting SP. A lot of questions, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths. So I would like to touch on this topic today. Um, the first and the foremost thing that I would like to say is the feeling comes first. And when I talk about the word feeling, it does not mean the emotions or the things that you feel in your body. It is knowing. Now, what is knowing? Say, for example, your name is Susan, and somebody comes and tells you, um, "Hi, Mary. Your name is Mary." You'd laugh it off and you'd say, "No, my name is Susan." And that person again says, "No, your name is Mary." You'd say, "No, my name is Susan." And I know maybe you'd fight that person, maybe you'd laugh it off. Maybe you'd just uh you know just move on and not look at that person. But it won't change your knowing. You won't suddenly start doubting yourself that, "Oh my god, maybe my name is Mary." No, it is concrete. That belief is set in stone for you. Your name is Susan, right? So, in order to feel loved, to be loved, you need to know that you are loved. You need to know first. All our lives, before knowing the law, we would look at the 3D world, the physical world, and if somebody is saying I love you, or if the person is treating you right, anybody, your family, your friends, your children, your significant other, then you'd feel loved, and then you'd come to the conclusion that you are loved, right? But the law states you need to know that you are loved in order to feel loved. Correct? This is what we've been taught. And if you look back and if you um, go back to your past, you'd realize the beliefs that you've held all your life has manifested into your world in different forms. Now, this is where a lot of people make mistakes. Now, if you are trying to manifest somebody new, like you have a crush on someone, um, maybe you are attracted to the physical attributes. It's fine. Maybe you like that person as their nature, their uh, how they portray themselves, and there are so many things. Attraction is not related to a single thing, right? But you want that person in your life because you want to feel loved, correct? You want to feel loved. There is always a reason why we want what we want. And the most important reason here is you want to feel loved, you want to feel taken care of, you want to feel fulfilled, and you want to uh, maybe, I don't know, you want to feel satisfied. These are the feelings that you want from that person. But again, if we go back to the law, You need to feel, and I am using the word feel and know interchangeably, right? In order for you to manifest that specific person, you need to feel loved first. Only then will that person be able to reflect that. If you feel unloved, if you feel insecure, if you feel not enough, if you feel unwanted and not chosen, that person is not going to choose you no matter what. Okay, and by in any way you are able to manifest that person in your life, tell me, the feelings that you hold about yourself, the knowings, the beliefs that you hold about yourself, they are going to manifest and they are going to reflect. So tell me, would you be able to sustain that relationship? No. It is not the relationship that you want, it is the feeling that you want. And in order for you to have a long lasting relationship with that person, you need to change your belief system about yourself, the knowings about yourself. Now, you'd argue that I've held these beliefs for a very long time, and I have family, I have friends, I have this, I have that. You'd argue. But the point is, if you look closely, every relationship you have in your life, and I'm not talking about the romantic aspects, every relationship that you have in your life is reflecting the knowings in some way or the other, right? Take your mother, and I'm not talking about the abusive mothers, I'm talking about the loving mothers, right? You know, at the back of your mind, because you're her child, you are her child, you are loved by default. It's a knowing. You may fight with your mother, you may have a lot of disagreements, but at the back of your mind, you know you are loved by her. And it reflects to the T. Now with siblings, it is a completely different thing, right? The point is, the point is, the knowings that you have right now has been built brick by brick by your environment, society, parents, experiences that you've had. You've replayed them, repeated them, and have come to the conclusion that right now you're not loved, you're not wanted, you're not chosen, and so on and so forth. But we hold, I'm sorry, we hold the answers and solutions to these problems. And that is to change your self concept, to change the knowing, to change the belief system. There are two ways to manifest. There are literally two ways to manifest. One is you manifest that particular thing. All right? You manifest that particular thing. Or you manifest or change your self concept, and that thing comes naturally to you. Now, in the scenario number one, you manifest that thing, but your self concept remains the same. You won't be able to sustain it. But if you radically change your self concept, that thing will come naturally and stay for good. Now, why am I saying this? There are a lot of people who've been in a relationship. They manifested that their person, right? There were a lot of fights, a lot of misunderstandings. You got cheated on, and so many things. You forgave that person. Maybe you didn't forgive that person, but you still want that person back in your life. Now, why do you want that person in your life? Because in maybe at some point in the relationship, that person made you feel loved for 1 second, one second, one moment. Now you are chasing that feeling and you have attached that feeling to that person and you have given your power away to that person. That person controls your emotional state, your belief system, and your life. That is not to say, I am not trying to say that you can't have that person or you can't have somebody that you want. You can. But the point is, take your control back. You can have that person without chasing that person. You can have that person without putting all your self worth on that person. Let that person come to you. That person will come to you. But you need to put yourself on the pedestal. You either live your life walking a path and removing all the hurdles that come in your way, or you drastically change your path. And if you are not happy with the current circumstances of your life, you need to radically change the belief system, the knowing, the self concept, how you view yourself. Are you understanding? See, when a relationship begins, everybody is at their best behavior, right? You are feeling loved, you are enjoying the attention, and blah, 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 the honeymoon phase. And then it calms down, right? It calms down. And there comes a point where your self concept takes a hold, your self concept comes up. And when that self concept comes up, that person starts reflecting it to the T. That person starts reflecting it. Fights begin, you know, maybe that person starts lying to you. Maybe you get cheated on, whatever it is. And then maybe you break up, and then again, there is another relationship, same pattern, then another relationship, same pattern. And then you come to the conclusion that I am not worth it. Maybe it's just one person. You break up, you make up, you break up, you make up, the same cycle. And then you come to the conclusion that, oh my God, I'm so unloved. Maybe I'm not enough. But the conclusion, I am not enough, has always been there. It just became apparent to you right now. If you want to manifest somebody in your life, what you actually want to manifest is feeling loved, feeling enough, being in a happy, fulfilling relationship, being cared for, being pampered, you know, like feeling at the top of the world. But you can't make that person responsible for you to have those feelings. You need to give yourself that first. That person is the byproduct. That person is the side effect of the feelings that you give yourself first. I have seen so many posts where people say, I got cheated on, right? That person beat me, that person was violent, and blah, blah, blah. But I still want to manifest that person back. I will revise everything. What you're doing is you are working at the surface level. Why did you get cheated on in the first place? And I'm not victim blaming here. You got cheated on in the first place because your self concept, self respect, or maybe the insecurity that you've been holding at the at us at the subconscious level, it manifested. The law says everyone is you pushed out, everyone is a reflection of you. Again, I am not saying you are at fault. What I'm saying is you need to take accountability. You need to understand the fact that that person is just reflecting what you are holding inside of you, the beliefs that you hold about yourself. Think about it. Think about it. There are supermodels, you know, extremely beautiful women, extremely beautiful women, like carved out of a marble kind of beautiful women, and they still get cheated on. Why? Think about it for a second. Yeah, if we go by the 3D world, of course, it is the man's mistake and responsibility. But here we are talking about the law. It happens because the self concept is shit. You can be the ugliest person on this planet, but if you have a high self concept, any person on this planet will fall for you, would worship the ground you walk on. And that is the truth. That is the truth. And the things that I'm saying is going to trigger a lot of people. Like, how am I the one who is at fault that my man or my woman cheated on me? You are not at fault by the perspective of the 3D, but by law. You created this with your belief system, with your self concept. You, I have spoken to so many clients and they say, I manifested a text, I manifested them coming back, I manifested this, I manifested that. Uh, People affirm this particular person is in love with me. A person can be in love with you and still abuse you to hell, can still cheat on you. If your self concept is not on point, these things will keep manifesting no matter what you do. These things will keep repeating unless and until you change the root cause. And I am not saying go back to your past and dig up the corpses and try to bring it back to life. No. This is the only moment that you have. There is no past, there is no future. All you have is right now. And if in this moment you choose to be loved, to be secure, to be irresistible, to be satisfied, to be fulfilled, nothing in this world can take it away from you. And that person has to comply because that person does not have any other choice. He or she is reflecting exactly what is going on inside of you. You can manifest a text, you can manifest a call, you can manifest a date, you can manifest an engagement, you can manifest getting married. But if your self concept remains the same, even after getting married, and marriage is just a paper, it is nothing else. You can still get cheated on. You can look like Angelina Jolie and you will still get cheated on if your self concept is not on point. Now, coming back to the practical part, how do you change your self concept? So, the first and the foremost thing is give yourself a day or two, right? Sit down, sit with yourself and watch how you think, what beliefs you hold about yourself. And if you can, write it down. You know, it becomes very apparent. If you just sit still, you don't question your thoughts, you just let them come. Your belief system, your self concept will become very apparent. Very, very apparent. The first and the foremost thing, in order for you to change something, you need to recognize first. You need to know what you have to change. And I am not saying it is going to take days or months or years. No. The major process is recognition, right? The feeling, the word feeling that we use and that we understand is just a chemical reaction in your body. And I'm not talking about that feeling, just for you to understand, okay? Now, after recognizing, maybe you feel insecure, maybe you feel unloved, uh, maybe you're not satisfied, maybe you're not enough, maybe you're not sexy enough, maybe you're not beautiful enough, whatever it is. Once you've recognized the pattern, state the opposite. And I'm not saying sit and robotically affirm. No. Each time a thought comes up, say for example, when you're thinking about your SP and you say, maybe I'm not good enough, change it. No, I am enough. I have always been enough and I will always be enough. Put yourself on the pedestal. He or she is not the prize. You are the prize. Don't base your self worth on a specific person. Whether or not you have that person, you are still loved. Whether or not you have that person, you are still the prize. You are still valued. You are the best version of yourself. And you are not lucky because you have him. He is lucky. He or she is the luckiest person on this planet because they have you. And manifesting that specific person is the byproduct of all the things that I'm asking you to do. You know, I'll tell you my story. Um, During I was coming out of, if you watched my previous video, I've spoken about all the things that I went through, and I was coming out of a very bad marriage, right? I had mentally checked out and all of that. My self concept was shit. Shit, right? I would look at myself in the mirror and say, fuck, I'm the ugliest person on this planet. And all of that. And where I come from, if you are divorced and if you have children, No man will look at you. They might want to sleep with you, or they might want to do things with you, but they wouldn't want to marry you, or they wouldn't, whatever it is, right? And I had, at the back of my mind, I was like, I have to end up alone now. Or if I find somebody in my life, I will have to settle down for what I don't like, right? This was at the back of my mind. My self concept was shit, right? And during that period, to try to cope with all the things that were happening, I used to read a lot of fanfics. I came across one fanfic, and it was a very beautiful one. And it generated some feelings in me, right? Like, I felt like, wow, this is so beautiful. I want this for myself. And what I did was I wrote an erotica. Please don't judge me. I write a lot of short stories. So I wrote an erotica, and I used to read it, and I used to feel like, wow, so beautiful. And I did it intermittently, like once in a week, or maybe once in 2 3 days right before I fell asleep. And I used to bask in the feeling, and that's it, nothing else. And I wasn't actively thinking about it, right? Now, after a month, I was working in a company as a trainer. So after about a month, there was this particular student. Like, I got a call from my manager, and my manager said, "Mrs. Cumberbatch, you have to take this class." And it wasn't my slot. Basically, I was busy during that period, and I had never taken that slot before. But my manager called me, and she's like, "Mrs. Cumberbatch, it is really important that you take it, because the last trainer, he's fallen sick, and this student has paid like the whole fees at once." And I'm like, she begged me, and she had never done that before. And I'm like, okay. I called the student. We were supposed to give an introductory call. I called that student, and that student was on a bus or something, and we spoke. Like, I tried speaking to him, but his voice was breaking and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, fine. Let us not talk right now, and just join the class tomorrow at 7 p.m. The class was supposed to be at 7 p.m., and it was online on Zoom. Like, he's like, fine. The next day, I started the class, and I sat there, and 15 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by, and the company's rule was to wait for 30 minutes and end the meeting, and mark the student as absent. I waited for 30 minutes, and then I called my manager, and I'm like, you begged me to take this class. I have children, and I have a lot of things to do. Now the student hasn't shown up. The manager went against the rules, and she's like, please sit for another 15 minutes. Please do this. And if he doesn't show up, then end the class. I'm like, fine, sure. I sat there for another 15 minutes, and I don't know what happened. I started scrolling through my phone, or I got a call or something. I waited another 15 minutes. So basically 1 hour. And the class was supposed to be only for an hour. And I waited for the whole hour. Right as I was about to end the class, the guy shows up, and he's very sheepish, and he's very like all sorts of feelings. He was very embarrassed, and he was feeling guilty, and he sat in the class, and he's like, I'm extremely sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine, fuck it. And I started with the normal introductions and the questions. The first class was always introductory, getting to know each other, right? So I started speaking to him, and I'm like, I won't be able to stretch for an hour, but let's do half an hour. And he's like, fine. And very shy, very introverted, blah, blah, blah. And after like 5-10 minutes, he smiled. And when he smiled, my heart skipped a beat. I know this sounds very cliche, but my heart skipped a beat. And I'm like, I we spoke for some time and then I ended the meeting. And I kept thinking about it. I'm like, why? Like it was just a feeling. Then the classes began and he used to meet me thrice a week for an hour. For some reason, this guy, he wanted to extend, like he had taken the classes for 3 months and he extended it to 6 months. And he was like, I had said yes for 3 months and he extended it for 6 months, right? So the trainer was supposed to change. He called the company and he's like, I want the same trainer, I want the same teacher. Otherwise, you will have to refund the money. So I had to go out of my way to accommodate him. Right. We started talking and all of that. And when the 6 months ended, there were just two or three classes left. He was like, I don't, he was normally very introverted, but he spoke that day and he's like, it is coming to an end and I am going to think about you and all of that. Like, fine. So all of a sudden I'm like, do you want to watch a movie with me? And he's like, absolutely. Obviously, he lived in a different state and I lived in a different state. So we watched a movie together on Zoom. Now, this was very unprofessional, I know, but whatever. We watched a movie for an hour and then we spoke for the next 8 hours straight on Zoom. Again, the next day, he texted me and he's like, do you want to watch a movie? Again, 8 to 9 hours. This continued like 15 days, 20 days, a month, right? We used to watch movies and then the movie stopped and we just spoke, you know, playing games and all of that. And as soon as I used to end the Zoom, he would call me and he wanted to talk on phone. I fell in love, right? I fell in love. And I'm a bold, like, I am an introverted person, but I'm a bold person, right? So I was like, okay, fine. Yes, a good thing. And I said, I'm falling in love with you. And he was very happy. And, he love bombed me and all of that. But the hold up here was he was already in a relationship when he met me. And he told me right in the beginning. When I fell in love with him, I'm like, no, this woman has to go. He did not tell me the particulars of his relationship, but I was like, this woman has to go and I have to have him, right? I manifested that. I manifested that. He started telling me she's abusive. She treats me like shit. And he was not lying. I saw it because once we were on Zoom together and she called and she started abusing him because I don't know why she was abusing him, but she was angry because his mother was sick and he did not travel 1500 kilometers in the middle of COVID to see his mother or something like that, right? And he's like, I can't live with her and blah, blah, blah. And he said, I love you to me as well. And the relationship started. Went good, went really good for a short span of time. And then my self concept. you know, came up to me at full force. I got engaged to that person. And when I love hard. I give my all. I take care of that person and all of that. But he was here just to use me for that, just to inflate his ego. And I'm not saying he's at fault. What I'm saying is, I attracted him. I attracted this person because my self concept was shit. My ex husband, he abused me just like my father did. But this person abused me just like my mother did. And in both the scenarios, these things happened because of my self concept. He never tried to break up with me because I have this knowing that nobody leaves me, nobody can leave me. And he's never tried to break up with me. But even while being in the relationship, he'd make me feel like shit. He'd make me feel unheard. He'd make me feel unloved. He made me feel insecure. But it is not he who is doing that. It is me who is doing that. He's never cheated on me because I know nobody will ever cheat on me. He's never cheated on me, but he's done everything else. Another thing, another thing. I have held this belief for all my life. When you have money, people come to you for money. And when he came into my life, I was working and I was earning a lot, really a lot. And he knew that. That was another thing at play. He would ask me for things. And to this day, he does that. Please buy me an iPad. I have two children. I have to take care of them. X does not pay child support. To this day, he does that. So, can you see every belief that I've held all my life has played out perfectly? If he leaves, I can manifest him back, but the same cycle will continue unless I change my self concept drastically and radically. So the point is, and I'm very good with people. I can manifest dates, like in seconds and minutes. I I know if I want to go on a date with somebody, I can make it happen. I can manifest that. But when it comes to sustaining it, my self concept is not where it is supposed to be. And I'm being vulnerable here. I am not saying, oh my God, my life is absolutely blissful. No, I'm sharing my experience with you. You know, recently, I started telling myself that I am the most respected person on this planet. People have started telling me that, people have started showing me respect. It reflects quickly and immediately if you don't look. 3D surprises you. 3D really surprises you. Now, coming back to the practical steps, right? Now, say you are manifesting a date. I don't understand the reasoning behind people wanting to manifest a text, wanting to manifest a date, wanting to manifest a relationship. Neville strictly said go to the very end. If you want a person, if you want to get married, just go to the very end and be married to that person. Do not meddle with the middle. Getting a date, like manifesting a date, it is an individual and independent manifestation. It does not promise you that that date is going to turn into a relationship. So I don't understand the concept behind this. People wanting to manifest in steps or, going for small things, but whatever works for you. Say, for example, you're trying to manifest a date, go to the end. An end does not mean you imagining sitting across that person. No, it means the next day you telling your mother, your sister, your friend, whoever the fuck it is that you're close with, you're telling that person how well it went. That is the end. Don't meddle with the middle again. And do not try to manipulate the 3D. Actions happen naturally. We are not in control of our actions. We are not in control of our actions. Actions is a byproduct of the state that you are in, just like emotions and feelings. Emotions, feelings, and actions are a byproduct of the state that you are in. Do not try to manipulate the 3D, and I cannot stress this enough. Now, say for example, you are manifesting a text. You went to the end, you imagined, affirmed, whatever it is, whatever technique that you use, you imagined getting a text, right? And in the very next moment, you are checking your phone every second. What does that tell you? If you would have gotten the text, would you check the phone? If you know, if you know that the text is sitting in your phone, you've read it and you've replied already, would you keep checking your phone? No, right? Then why are you checking your phone? If you are already in a relationship with your person, would you stalk their social media? No, you wouldn't. And in order for you to control your actions, like I'm not talking about uh, like uh, checking the phone or stalking their social media or looking at the 3D. In order to not do all of these things, you need to have discipline. Discipline means to control your thoughts. Your brain says, oh my God, you need to check your phone. Maybe he texted. That is hope. That is you not already having the text. If you are married to somebody, if you are married to somebody, would you wait for their call 24 by 7 and keep checking your phone? And if you call that person and that person does not, if your husband or wife does not take your call, would you sit there and cry and be anxious? Or you think maybe he or she is busy in the office? Anna's going to come back home to me. Right. That is The natural thought process. If you are married to somebody, you're not sitting anxious at home and you're like, oh my God, where is he? Where is she? Why is she not taking my call? No. You sit there in the knowing he is my husband, she is my wife. And that's it. And that person is going to come back home in the evening and I can ask them, why didn't you take my call? Or maybe you just assume, okay, he or she must be in a meeting or something. You tell yourself that, right? So why can't you do it right now when all you have is this moment? Why are you choosing? Why are you choosing to serve the master that is not going to give you anything? 3D is just the reflection of your inner knowing. So when you know you're married to that person or that person has already texted, then why would you meddle with the 3D? Another important thing is when people are manifesting their SPs, they say, okay, I'm in the state until it materializes in the 3D. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to live your life. If you have something already, you wouldn't wait. If you are waiting, it means you don't have it. Your inner world is the cause, and your 3D world is the effect. Unless you change the cause, the effect is not going to be as or how you want it to be. So you need to, how do I put it into words? You need to change the cause. You can manifest a text, call, a date. Go ahead. If you want to do that, go ahead. Right? But if you want the relationship to be loving and fulfilling consistently, you need to know that you are loved and fulfilled first. And that person is just the byproduct and will reflect your self concept to the T. Right? So, this is what I wanted to say about manifesting SP. There are going to be a lot of videos related to SP as the ideas come to me, right? But I would like to end it at this. Thank you so much for listening. And another thing I would like to say is if you want to work with me, if you have questions to ask, the details are in the description. And and the important thing is please, please work on your self concept. Please work on your self concept. Right? Thank you so much. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.